Earlier tonight, a certain architect quoted Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. It was cute. Brought a tear to my eye, but I'll do you one better. MLK once said, "Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere." And the fact that I am not Intercontinental Champion right now is one pretty big glaring injustice. Seth Rollins and Bend Over Bobby. I can't wait to see both in the Royal Rumble. Because when my music hits and I officially enter that match, I'm coming after both of you. I'm going to elbow you both in the throat. I'm going to kick you both in the family jewels. And when you're lying on the mat writhing in agony, wondering when it's going to end, I'm going to pick you up and dump you both over the top rope. 2018 was not my year. I spent the better part of it in a hospital after I literally drove my body into the ground, to no gratitude, I might add. I owe it to myself to win the Royal Rumble. The Royal Rumble will be my shining moment, my miracle on ice. I own the road to WrestleMania. Come Sunday, justice will be served.
Communications tool used the world over where people can come together to bitch about movies and share pornography with one another. This is a site populated by militant movie buffs, sad, pathetic little bastards living in their parents' basement, downloading what they think is inside information about movies and actors they claim to despise yet can't stop discussing. But Affleck was the bomb in Phantoms.
Word, bitch. Phantom's like a motherfucker.
What's up now?
I don't give a shit about winning that G1. To be honest with you, it's not even a real tournament to me. I see the same guys since I got here, sitting at the same table with a couple new faces over there. This is my second year. Seeing on social media that I've got to prove something. Fuck you. I ain't got to prove shit to none of y'all. I've been proving myself since the day I fucking set foot on this goddamn island.
It makes me sick to think what you did to me, holding me back. You guys talk about being students of the game. I am the game, JR. There is nobody that eats, sleeps, or breathes this business more than me.
You asked me the same question like 15 times. Like, this got sprung on me the same time as it did you. And now I got all this other stuff to worry about, and you just keep asking me the same question over and over. I gave you the same answer every time. I said, I don't know, all right? And I'm not going to manufacture some answer for you and be like, if you want, like, go find somebody else and give them the script. And just have your little show about somebody else that wants to read your script. Like, stop trying to get me to say what you... Stop trying to, like, lead me into saying the things you want me to say, okay?
Do you remember the last time you called me a coward? We were on the set of Talking Smack. And I got in your face, and what did you do? Did you fight for your dreams? Did you punch me in the face? No, you got up and you walked away. Because as much as you pretend that you want to fight me, all you really want is this. This, Daniel. You just want me and you locked in conflict because you know it furthers your career. I have carried you on my back since I was a pro on NXT. 10 years of fighting on the indies, Daniel, to get noticed. And it took me 5 minutes of getting in your face on Talking Smack to make you famous.
This world is such a, and when I say this world, I mean it. I don't mean in an ideal sense. I mean in every day, every little thing you do. It's such a, gimme. Everybody back off. You know, everybody's like, you taught that from school, everywhere. Big business. You want to be successful? You want to be like Trump? Gimme. Push. Step. Crush. That's how it all is. And it's like, nobody ever stopped. Just, you know, I feel like Instead of us just being like slavery's bad, bad whitey. I mean, all right, let's stop that. And everybody's smart enough to know that, I mean, we've been slighted and we want ours. And I don't mean by like ours, 40 acres and a mule, because we passed that. But we need help. I mean, for us to be on our own 2 feet, us meaning youth or us meaning black people, whatever you want to take it for us to be on our own 2 feet, we do need help. Because we have been here. We have been a good friend. If you want to make it a relationship type thing, we have been there, and now we deserve our payback. It's like you got a friend that you don't never look out for. You know, you dressed up in jewels. Now America's got jewels, and they paid and everything, and they lending money to everybody except us. And it's like, you know, everybody need a little help on their way to being, you know, self-reliant. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole thing about the album, about the Special Olympics. Everybody need a little something and they to be independent. No independent person just grew up and was born independent. You worked and you learned teamwork and you learned cooperation and unity and struggle, and then you became independent. And we have to teach that and instill that. And why is it that they want to do that? I mean, if this is truly a melting pot in the country where we care about it, and Lady Liberty got a hand like this, she really loves us, then we really need to be like that. And it needs to be the black kids. If there's a white person who got money, then you need to help them. You need to help black kids, Mexican kids, Korean kids, whatever. But it needs to be real. And it needs to be before we all die, and then you say, oh, I made a mistake. We should have gave them some money. We really should have helped these folks. It's going to be too late. You know what I'm saying? And then that's when you got to pay your own karma. And that's when God makes you punish. When God punishes you. Because I feel like, you know, it's too much money here. I mean, nobody should be hitting lotto for $36 million and we got people starving in the streets. That is not idealistic. That's just real. That is just stupid. There's no way Michael Jackson should have, or whoever Jackson, should have $1 million, $1 billion, and then there's people starving. There's no way. There's no way that these people should own planes and their people don't have houses, apartments, shacks, drawers, pants.
So people would say, well, they earned it. Now you go out here and earn it.
If they earned it, then I think that's good, and I think that they deserve it. But even if you earned it, you still owe. Because look at me, I don't have that mega money, but I feel guilty walking by somebody. I got to give them some mail. And if I know I got $3,000 in my pocket, I feel like it's wrong to give that person a quarter. Or
I gotta stay on the positive vibe. All my people's gotta stay on the positive vibe, you know. The negativity just brings failure, you know. And we ain't trying to fail in this game, we're trying to succeed.
Hey, I feel, hey.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome to episode 140 of the Hoots Podcast. It is Thursday, January 24th, 2019. I want to send a special birthday shout out to a good friend of the podcast, MJ Santee from Who Got Next. Give her a shout out at Twitter at MJ_Santee. Fellow Barican sister, really good friend, and she turned 30 today, so we'll give a shout out to MJ really quick. Shout out to you, great listeners, who check out our podcast every single week. All our good brothers and good sisters, you guys know who you are. My name is Josh. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at the Hoots Podcast. Got some news to get out of the way before we get to this week's episode. We are now on Spotify. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. You can check out our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, getting on Google Play today. So anywhere you get your podcasts from, just type in the Who's Podcast and you'll find our show. We're going to be uploading our shows every Thursday for those who don't regularly listen to the show. And we're going to go from there. I have another thing I want to plug really quick. ProWrestlingTranscriptions.com. Got a busy weekend ahead with NXT TakeOver Phoenix and the Royal Rumble. Rumble's my favorite pay-per-view to cover out of the year, especially just like as a transcriber, keeping pace with the eliminations and the number of entrants in each Royal Rumble match that's going to happen this Sunday. I'm very, very excited for what this weekend has in store for us, so not only from NXT, but also from the WWE as well. So it's going to be a fun weekend. I'm excited for the Rumble. It's one of the best parts of the year for any hardcore wrestling fan, and I'm excited to cover both shows this weekend. Coming up, we have the 2019 Wrestling Radio Awards, and in the past, this show's gone through many variations, but the show and what it represented and the theme of the show hasn't really changed. So it wasn't like we take like a 8-month break and this is something brand new or this is a new project or anything like that. The only change I would consider would be when I left
Chappelle and Sports Radio to doing the podcast regularly with Adam. So that's the only difference. I talk about it each week. This has been my 6th year of broadcasting, and the shows haven't changed. Yes, it used to be called the Pro Wrestling Experience. It used to be called Josh Lopez Wrestling Podcast. Now it's the Hoots Podcast. So nothing has changed with the show. Maybe the title of the show has changed, but the themes and the core values of the show will not change going forward. And we've been nominated in the past for a couple different categories over the years, like Best New Show of the Year and Show of the Year. And I'm very humble for that. To not have that much of an exposure of our own network or a big flock of followers when it comes to our shows each week, doing this the right way, grassroots, independent, doing things on our own accord and making our own brand for our own reasons. It's been a pleasure and honor to do these shows for you guys. So if you can nominate us for Best New Show of the Year, go check out the Wrestling Radio Awards and give a shot for both of us. We really, really appreciate it. So enough with the plugs, enough with the business crap out of the way. I just wanted to say really quick, just to remind people that coming up on Sunday with the Rumble, I thought it was pretty funny. Dan Bryan had this tweet a couple minutes ago where he's like ripping the chase field for the Royal Rumble burger that they're offering. I just thought that was fucking hilarious. So anyways, Royal Rumble coming up this Sunday on the WWE Network, and we're going to get into that throughout the podcast. But I'm not alone. By the way, we're recording this live on YouTube right now, so if you want to interact with us in the chat room, please do. You can follow my next guest. Not guest. Hold on, I'm kidding. This is my good brother from another mother. You can check out this man on Instagram, AdamDaley13, the one and only Adam Daley. What's going on, my man?
What's going on? So I'm probably not going to keep the camera on the whole time. I'm not really a camera guy anymore. I don't want to break anybody's laptop out there. But yeah, man. No, listen. Agree with a lot of what you said. If I do go dark on the screen, don't think it's like I left. Like I said, I just don't. I have a weird, a very strange thing about being on live internet. I don't think I'm combing my beard. Well, judge me for it. Yeah, I just don't think, I don't like being like live, people knowing where I'm at. I don't know, unless I'm in, in a studio or at work or something like that. It's strange to me in hindsight, all the stuff that we used to do with these video shows. You know what I mean?
Right. We do have good news for the people who are watching this live. This video will not be on the channel later on today. I am going to delete it once this recording's over. Like I said in the description box, you'll hear our audio version in fully later on today. So this is something cool to get out of the way. A little different recording than we usually do today. Some other circumstances got in our way for recording on our regular platforms, but it's cool. We're here on YouTube, and come interact with us. So, brother, really quick, before we get into like the Rumble or NXT or any of that good stuff, man, how you feeling?
Well, I'm trying to get my dog to quit using me as a chew toy first. That's why I had to mute the camera there, because she made a dive in on me right as we were, she likes to do this sort of thing. But yeah, no, man, you know what? It's there's a lot of wrestling to be watched right now. Work has been extremely busy for me. That's I keep preaching that. That's why I missed the show a couple weeks ago. But yeah, man, I mean, life is life right now, I guess, right? It's funny. I will admit it. I kind of. And this is where I don't throw stones at anybody, guys. But I do, in hindsight, look at how even ridiculous I used to act with wrestling and with dirt sheets and stuff like that. And yeah. I totally agree. The Royal Rumble is absolutely my favorite pay-per-view of the year, just because you never know, and it's the surprises and the unpredictability of it all. And everybody that stays in the know and stays on dirt sheets and gets all these spoilers, and every year they talk about how bad it is, and and I think to myself, all these, who do you think is going to be in it this year? And it's like, man, until they started saying it this week, I forgot it was this Sunday. And that's no fault of WWE's. It's just that, I work for myself, so I'm constantly working. You know what I mean? Like, it's much different than when I was in my 20s and I was on somebody else's time clock, working a 9 to 5 or working you know what I mean? Like, I am my own business now. I'm not working for somebody else's business. So, you know what I mean? It's not the highlight of my month anymore. It's the highlight of my week, my night. It's a break. I think that's why I don't criticize it as much as I used to, as some of the internet marks do, you know, the wannabe know-it-alls. But I think it's just more that's where it becomes, you know, and listen, we need that passion though too. So I'm not saying, you know, but I guess that's why guys just in, you know, as you were saying, MJ's turning the dirty 30, which is extremely young. Like I know Sam, not giving away ages, but is slightly younger than that. And I think she's having like a midlife crisis. And it's like, I'm looking 40 in the eyes, man. Like this is, and I'm not aging gracefully either. So at all, asking my knees. But listen, but yeah, man, I guess that's why for the Rumble, I am in such a I can't wait for this weekend kind of mood. Like, you totally forgot about TakeOver. That's what I mean. That's, again, no fault to WWE's. It's just that there's so much wrestling going on right now that certain things get left, you know, by the wayside. Now, that being said, though, dude, I'm totally fired up for TakeOver. And actually, my daughter, for all you marks out there that love to be Marky Mark about all the shows and how it's the greatest ever, my daughter keeps talking about Gargano and Ricochet as like the match she wants to see. Right. So this is like, this is a little 9-year-old Mark, and that's the match she already has picked out. So I guess that means the business is probably in a pretty good place, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't think any funerals are being arranged right now. Thank God.
Knock on wood, man. 2018 was ruthless to me. Yeah, we're going to knock on wood.
I feel like personally, and maybe you can relate to this, Adam, like, even like during all our different podcasts over the years, I kind of forget like what day it is sometimes. I wouldn't know what a Monday would be from a Wednesday. And it's kind of different now because, like, okay, obviously, yeah, you got Monday Night Raw and SmackDown and you got that ingrained in your head. But it's like during the middle of the week where you're grinding, you're putting a lot of work in, you got a lot of stuff in your head at the same time too. It's sometimes that blurs out. Like there's only 3 things that really stand out to me throughout the week. Monday, working at night at the shop. Thursday, here recording the podcast with you, and whatever pay-per-view I got to cover throughout the weekend. That's pretty much it. Everything else comes in between, and it's gravy.
And like for me, I put in, there's nights where I'm working at midnight till like 5 a.m. It's whenever I want to get these projects done I just do, and it doesn't matter what I do. It's no one's business out there. I work on a computer. We'll just say that. But, my hours can get split so many different times. So, you figure out, and we're putting in, let's just, on average, say I'm putting in 50 hours a week, give or take 6-7 days. I'm working, doing a little bit something every day. Also a stay-at-home dad because Sam works for a great company here in Pittsburgh, and she's kind of in and out of the offices, warehouse, that kind of position. So she got like the corporate side, like the public side. I got like the private, so both are necessary, guys. That's always the battle, public versus, they're both necessary, kind of like WWE and AEW, but that's neither here nor there. But you put in being a stay-at-home parent, working all hours of the night. We have a dog that's a puppy and just doesn't stop. And it's like, if I get 3 hours of sleep, and it's you feel it too. You know what I mean? Like you don't feel it as much when you're young and you're single and you're doing this and that. When you're a parent and you're relying, everyone's depending. I don't want to say everyone's depending on you, but you know what I mean. As a father, that's what you always think, and as a husband, that's what you always think. So, yeah, man. It's the last thing that's been on my mind is who's the surprise entrance is going to be for the Royal Rumble. I just let it happen now, and this is why I always preach. And I guess now I'm putting a face to the preaching, as you guys see. I'm not being like a condescending dick. It's just, I guess that's where, for me, the wrestling experience, whether it's WWE. Whether it's been New Japan Pro, whether it's been Ring of Honor, whether it's been, I started taping Women of Wrestling on Access for my daughter. Just NXT, whatever you want to brand it. The entire wrestling experience has been a lot more pleasurable for me recently because I've gotten out of the muck. You know what I mean? I've gotten out of all the opinions and the negativity and the Twitters and the who cares about like what Dave Meltzer says, to be honest. Like, all due respect. I've been watching too much Sopranos. All due respect here, Tom. I listen, it's just, who really gives a shit what Dave Meltzer says? Who cares what I say, ultimately? You know what I mean? That's why I come on here and just try make a bunch of really bad jokes and then we just move on. But ultimately we hang on these people's every word, and it's like, who cares, man? Like, just watch the show, form your own opinion, cut all the nonsense out. we complain about the media all the time. It's the news media. It's Fox News. It's CNN. It's Newsmax. It's all these bad, evil stations that, yet we drink in all these wrestling media outlets, what we love and hate, like it's protein shakes. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But you get what I mean? It's that we say there's evil on one side, yet we drink the poison on the other because it's just, what we're overly passionate about. So I just cut the poison out. And for me, I'm enjoying it a lot more. Like, I'm looking forward to the Rumble. Personal, maybe things aside, that I would love to see like the elite guys in there. Not going to happen. So, still interested to see like what comes out of it. I don't see, I don't know. I can't spend, again, 168 hours in a week. I can't sit here and I love talking about wrestling, but I can't like spend any minutes on a dirt sheet caring about what somebody else thinks.
Yeah.
Call me crazy. I don't know.
No, I think you're smart. I've taken that approach a lot over the last 3 years. And it's been more enjoyable to watch shows for what it is at the end of the day. You either are entertained by the show or not, and that's the crux of what we watch each week. I wanted to say this real quick because I think a lot of times as fans, like, we like to hold certain companies accountable for like creative mistakes, or this guy's not getting enough attention, or bad business decisions like Saudi Arabia or whatever other controversy we want to get into in the wrestling bubble. But I think for me, I like to hold other people accountable for, it's funny. You'll have a guy like a Dave Meltzer or Wade Keller go on their soapbox about, WWE resting on their laurels or not listening to people who are trying to help make their product better. But they get offended when you want them to be better at their jobs.
And so I like Meltzer too. I mean, I don't. That's the thing. I don't really have an opinion on anybody in any of this like wrestling media, and I'm using the quotes immensely here. Just because that's all it is. It's more soap opera than WWE itself.
I know, but this is all I wanted to say about it. It's like, it's one thing to say somebody to do their job or be better at it, but you also could fall in that category too. We all have moments where we're all caught slipping. There's moments where, like, I feel I'm my own worst enemy.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like, I hate listening to myself while editing the show and stuff like that. Like I already have enough time where I put myself down already as it is. So like, it's whatever.
You know what? To piggyback off that, this is the perfect way to say it. Just to get like mindsets change. And listen, and I know there's like your demographic is kind of split. It's older and younger, and we kind of have a weird dichotomy like to who listens to the show, and that's why I like doing the show. So to the younger crowd that listens, that doesn't believe me, and I know I'm just the old guy on here. You don't really know, for example, how exhausting and testing being a parent can be, and totally rewarding too. Like, please, like, don't that's, I'm also like bringing that into it. But parenting is work. It's not like it was when like the baby boomers just had kids and they just didn't do anything with the kids. You know what I mean? Like, Sam and I like to parent. We like to be involved in our child's life. Now, I say that, and a lot of people go out there, oh yeah, I'm sure, I totally get it. Nah. Unless you're a parent, you don't get it. And I used to get so mad, Josh, when people would say that, right? Like, oh, yeah, whatever, man. Like, I'm sure I can't, like, whatever. Don't insult me and say, oh, you don't know because you don't have kids. Psh, I know. I babysat before. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and everybody has used it, and I'm sure. And if you're laughing at home, either you've said it or you know people that have said that. You have no idea what it's like to be a parent until you are a parent. Just like I will never, ever, 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 ever say what a woman can do or cannot do with her body. That's a political argument that in my opinion, has nothing to do with me as a man, because I am not a woman. I never have been, never will be. And I can't I don't fully know. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like when people say, well, I don't understand. No, you don't. No idea. I watched my wife give birth. Trust me, men, we have no idea what it's like to be a woman. So with that being said, I don't criticize like it's not me criticizing the dirt sheet writers or anything like that. It's just me saying, I don't have time for their opinions anymore. My time, I've realized in life, my time is valuable. And there's people investing in my time. And when you realize your own worth, and that's why I keep preaching this on like a lot of these shows, but when you do truly realize your own worth, and that doesn't mean like, being your own business or, just realizing that you're important, you're not going to let other people dictate the way that you feel. So I give all the credit. Listen, Meltzer's built a career, same with Wade Keller, and you could laundry list people, and I respect and appreciate what they do, especially the hustle. But I'll never allow them to dictate how I feel about a wrestling organization, performer, show, match, and anything like that anymore. Let alone like the poison that social media became. So I guess that's where I'm at with that's my side of it. You know what I mean? Like, because I don't want to hate the game, like, and I don't want to hate the players in the game either, because I totally get it, and again, you have to respect the hustle. They're not going to tell me how to think anymore. And haven't for a while, but that's the problem, I think, with the Twitterverse and the Facebook verse and the social media verse and whatever.
All right, before we get to NXT TakeOver, I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the stuff that happened on Raw and SmackDown this week. That stood out to both of us. I wanted to start it off really quick with the Finn Balor, Vince McMahon, Brock Lesnar, Braun Strowman segment that started off Raw on Monday. It's going to go back to a little bit of what we talked about last week, and they're going with the storyline now that Finn Balor is going to fight Brock Lesnar at the Royal Rumble, and they got the David versus Goliath matchup, and Brock Lesnar is basically invincible to beat, and we'll have our predictions of whether Finn can make the upset or not on Sunday. I just find it interesting, it's like you're hitting real life topics or perceptions of Raw being about the land of the Giants now, and SmackDown being about wrestling, and the difference from both shows. And you got Finn Balor in the ring with these guys. Finn Balor fights Braun Strowman. It was a solid match. Finn Balor's building up steam for a Royal Rumble. A lot of people are interested in this match because they thought they'd probably never see it. Finn's finally now getting his Universal title rematch, so people don't have to complain about it anymore. I said it last week. I felt like in some ways it could be a lose-lose situation for whoever fan you are of each performer. I'm not saying I'm not interested in this match, because I am. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. But, my question to you, brother, is what do you want out of this matchup, or whatever comes out of the Royal Rumble, for this particular feud, or at least for Finn Balor's sake? Before I get to that, I thought, and I don't know, look into it as much as you want. I'm sure that's what they want. But did you see Lesnar's title didn't have his plates on the side on Monday? No, I did not see that. It just had the generic WWE logo plates. So either he forgot his title at home and they just gave him a replica, and he had to run out with that, or that's happened before. It's absolutely has happened before. Or maybe there was something going on with that. But I guess if here's where in my head and in my heart, I still think Lesnar walks out as champ. But there's always that caveat of like, what if, right? And you just booked what does this place hold? 45, 50,000 people for the Rumble, something like that. I think they booked it early. I think the idea was that they were going to, and maybe I'm wrong about this, but I think they thought that they were going to be able to bring in the elite guys. And that's why the Rumble was going to be huge. They were going to have a ton of big names. It made sense why it was going to be in a bigger, they should be doing the Rumble in larger places like this, and probably SummerSlam, to be honest. That way you can have SummerSlam in places like Pittsburgh. I've been petitioning this for like 3 years now, and I'm not going to stop until we get one at PNC Park down here, the most gorgeous baseball stadium. You could probably put 40,000 people. Imagine how great SummerSlam would be. Oh. Anywhere but Wrigley Field. Yeah, can you tell them to market it? But anyway, so you know what, man? I think ultimately, I think Finn Balor wins anyway, just because he's up there now in another guy that is going to be wrestling Brock Lesnar, and it makes a difference because there's always eyes on a Lesnar match. I actually wouldn't be surprised though if they pull a fast one on us and they actually put the title on Balor.
Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen, but it wouldn't surprise me. This wouldn't be like I'd still probably go, holy shit, they actually did it. But I just think that right now, I don't know. They booked a pretty big place for there not to be something big to happen, I guess, right? And the Rumble's already a big event anyway, but it just makes you feel like there was going to be something a little more happening, right? Just because, it's almost like when WrestleMania started going outdoors a little bit more. You knew something bigger was on the horizon, So, I don't know.
I want to mention this real quick. I feel like Raw in the last couple of weeks is really starting to get another footing around of what their foundation is of the show again after Roman had his unfortunate health scare. It was kind of like trying to figure out who's the main cog of the show and what's going on in between in separate feuds. And I feel like Seth Rollins has really taken that role and done a good job with it. After the whole Roman situation. That's how I feel about it, because I feel like when you watch Raw, there's always this one person the show's about. I feel like Raw is Monday Night Rollins now. I really do feel that way. Him constantly starting off second hours of the show or third hours of the show being an important cog to the programming. I think he's that tempo guy. And I think he's been doing a lot of good work. I think he should get some more praise that he's been getting recently.
I think him and Ambrose both. I mean, that they've worked a really good program the past couple months. Really, it's been really, really fun to watch. It's been a highlight of the show every week. Like both guys' segment this past Monday night, both quality promos. I loved how they both used different MLK quotes to kind of to frame their promos too. I really dug how they did that. No, man, I agree. I mean, I think there's a lot of people. I do think Balor listen, it used to be, right? Well, they don't push enough merch. Balor pushes merch. You know what I mean? Well, there's no crowd response. Crowd response is there. And you can't deny whether he comes out as, club owner Balor or, come on, it's good. Or he comes out as the Demon. He always gets a pop. And there's always a little something to his character that, from a marketing standpoint, once you get the casual fan a little more accepting of the Demon side, like just, you get people looking, you'd be able to use that trick a little bit more. You use every tool in your toolbox to make money, to be honest, man. And if you're looking for people that they can attach to make money off of and be like that guy or girl or the woman or the man, so to speak, I guess is what we really should say, but
yeah,
man, I totally get what you're saying about Rollins. Because listen, and no matter what I say, though, it's going to sound markish because I'm a Rollins guy, so it's it's just going to be me echoing everything that you just said. But no, I think that with Reigns going down, I think Alexa Bliss's injury probably played more into a lot than we think too. Even though Ronda was probably still going to get the title, I just think that making sure she's a part of every show, but coming up with all these different ways has made the show feel, it hasn't made the show. It's made the Alexa Bliss character feel a little lost right now, so I'm glad she's in the Rumble. So that way we can get something going with her again too. But, the one thing that I picked up from Raw, and listen guys, I'm not getting into any of the who should jump ship and this, and I'm not dipping into that. Yeah. This is a joke, but an observation and a suggestion to anybody listening, just putting it out there. The Revival should jump ship and go to AEW and call themselves Cease and Desist. That would be, why not?
That's a good one.
Why not? You know what I mean? If WWE's not, and again, there we go. So everyone's going to go, oh, they should go there. I don't know. Josh, real quick before we get to more stuff about Raw and SmackDown and before we get to TakeOver, I did want to talk about this. Even though, admittedly, I don't want to start talking about necessarily, I'm not going to be reading whose contract's up, any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah,
to me, that doesn't matter. But at least for me, and that's why I want to get your opinion on this. Listen, the possibility of, now there is a viable realistically, I don't want to say competition yet, but there's a viable second company that can threaten you with a pocketbook, right? So they can pay people to come away from WWE and work a lighter schedule. So it's going to be a twofold question. One, even though I'm still going to stay away from the dirt sheets, because I want, when people do start showing up on different shows, I want the organic surprise of it.
Yeah.
Are you excited about that? Because I'll admit, now that AEW keeps building steam, I'll admit there's part of me that's like, man, if they left and went there, it could be something. And there's a little part of me that, and not in a negative WWE way, just in a competitive way of, this could really make wrestling all around better, as it already is starting to. And go with that one first, Josh.
I'm not really sure, because I don't know like who's going to be every wrestling company, every sports team, every media outlet has a corresponding outlet where they have news about acquisitions to other places before it happens. Why do you think guys like Ken Rosenthal or Ian Rappaport are like well-known names, or Adam Schefter from ESPN, you know?
He used to work for the Broncos. He's a dick. He hates the Raiders.
And he also went to Northwestern, too.
I've always hated that dude, his entire career.
Anyways, part of me is worried because of where we are with how things are reported these days, and just the lust of knowing who's getting out of the contract out of WWE. Not as much about joining AEW. I think people these days have more interest in who's leaving WWE and why, as opposed to, this person here from SmackDown hasn't been pushed, so he's going to go to AEW, yada, yada, yada. We got
more the gossip side of it, of like why they left, versus just seeing people just go to, okay. And you know what's sick about that is I think you're right. I do.
Yeah, I mean, look at Mike Kanellis.
Which wasn't that all bullshit anyway?
Yeah, basically.
I don't know. This is where, like, for me, I will admit it is. It's becoming exciting thinking, I wonder if they could, or just because eventually it will get to a point where then who's going to be the first person from AEW that ends up jumping back to WWE, or for the first, it's once we get to that point like that, down the line, but
yeah.
Them having deep pockets absolutely helps, but again, I don't want to get too far ahead of it. Just until I like the slow burn of what AEW was. It was going to be a double-sided question. And honestly, man, I forget what I'm not even trying to bullshit you. Totally forget what the second part of that question was. But it was really just to see if you were getting any excitement built up about just the possibilities of people jumping, because I'll admit it does remind me of that mid to late 90s. You never knew what can happen all over again. It's the first time it's felt somewhat similar to that, except it feels a lot better. And I say that because it just feels more organized, and I feel more comfortable with all parties involved. And I know that sounds crazy because it's like, well, it's still WWE. Well, WWF back then was ran a little different than WWE corporate is now, versus, and I would say the guys in the Elite have a greater intention than maybe what was going on in WCW. So
yeah,
but I've also never been in any of those locker rooms. So I'm just a mark that's just talking shit right now. So please don't take what I say for yeah, man. Like don't, it's just I'm just idiot opinion over here.
But I think my stance is kind of different in a lot of ways. Not because I'm a WWE guy or anything like that. It's just I didn't get a grasp of the heat of, those guys making the move from WWE to WCW. I mean, by that time I was in diapers. I was just born in '94. When I first really got to understand wrestling and who's the good guy and the bad guy, not even like booking anything, but just as a regular wrestling fan, it was 1999, and we're already getting to the point where WWE was already taking the lead of WCW, and then watching all the like Monday Night War series they did on the network and other documentaries they did in the past, it's shown me a lot of things, and also listening to Eric Bischoff's podcast. He talked about it. Wrestling at the end of the day is about making money. And yes, the Khan family have a shitload of money and they have a lot of connections. And Jericho was talking about this on his podcast the other day. And I respect it. I'm glad that Tony Khan is a wrestling fan and he wants to do it for the right reasons. And I think that's cool that you're stepping out of your dad's shadows and, you know, doing your own thing. I think everything about AEW is cool. But as Eric Bischoff said, and I agree with this, it doesn't matter how much money you have. If you don't have the right infrastructure in what your company is, it's not going to last. Right. It's not going to last. I don't care how creatively talented the Young Bucks or Cody Rhodes is. At the end of the day, it's about distribution and marketing. That's why WWE has stock and is on the trademarks and all these other places. It's not the content. It's not. It's the business structure.
No, I do think though that if there was if there was going to be something that's rival, let's face it, the past couple years, when it comes to wrestling merch, Bullet Club, Elite, call it what you want, whichever way you wanted to go with it, that merchandise has dominated international marketplaces, domestic retailers like Hot Topic, online retailers. I mean, you name it. I mean, it's pretty much everywhere, and it's become almost as recognizable as whether it's the Bullet Club logo or whether it's just something whether it's dealing with the Young Bucks, the Elite, just whatever, has almost become almost as recognizable. And I don't hear me when I say this, is the WWE logo. Now obviously people know what WWE means, but when you start to see you live in a town like Pittsburgh. And when I go back and visit my dad, who lives about 45 minutes outside of Pittsburgh, right? And I go down there, and it's blue collar as it comes. That's what I always talk about. I grew up. It's ECW had their old shows there at the CCBC Golden Dome, and it is what they say about when they say Trump's America. Like that is the Rust Belt, but it is a wrestling heavy population. I mean, like it's wrestling. Wrestling's crazy around here, so you can't go anywhere without seeing Bullet Club stuff. And it's really funny. And whether it's Bullet Club stuff, Elite stuff, Young Bucks stuff, Marty stuff, it doesn't matter. You go anywhere and it's so you start to see it all the time. They have the marketing side down. You know what I mean? And you're right, Josh. It's marketing, it's distribution, and them getting in the Hot Topic was so brilliant. I mean, it's amazing. Other companies would pass up on that, but that's something that's neither here nor there. Yeah. But and when you really take a step back and think about this, they've done a lot of this on their own independently. Yes, they've had Ring of Honor, New Japan Pro, they've had other organizations that they've wrestled for, but they're kind of self-made men, and that's always been their moniker of why they didn't need WWE. And I think that motivation, that drive, and their proven track record already. Again, I'm not trying to inflate something that hasn't even happened yet, but I'm so excited about this because I feel more comfortable with everybody involved. I like, not only just for the right reasons, but I think they know how to market. They keep popping up at indie events all over the place. They're going to be smart with what they do. You see it on Being the Elite still. I don't know, man. I do think it's different. I think it's different with these guys. I think they got the right cogs in place. You bring a guy like Chris Jericho in, and you're going to learn from him. Just, you know what I mean? Like you're going to learn. And there's a lot of really intelligent people, really smart businessmen and women, that are involved with this already. So, that I think want to do it for the fans too, So I don't know, Josh. I think that at least for right now, it seems like a lot of egos are being left out of the door. And that ultimately is what will bring the infrastructure down.
Right. I know you don't really spend a lot of time listening to like other like wrestling podcasts and stuff, but it's not a podcast I want you to check out. I want you to check out Jericho's episode where he talked about why he decided to go to AEW instead of going back to WWE. And it kind of relates to what we're talking about right now, because he was talking about, these Young Bucks and Cody Rhodes having these meetings with like sponsorships or television networks, and they're like, who's your major stars? Like who you have in your network that can reach out to the audience, and why would your product sell to us? And Jericho's like, they bring in Chris Jericho, and they're like, oh, I know Chris Jericho from WWE, and I love Chris. I don't know what networks are maybe don't know who Chris Jericho is. Maybe their thoughts of wrestling is, The Rock is Stone Cold. I remember those guys. Maybe I don't know about Chris Jericho. So I don't know where that goes, but I thought his conversation and his thoughts on the AEW brand and how far it could go, I thought it was very interesting from his point of view. I think you really liked that episode.
I saw an interview he did with Chris Van Vliet. Is that his name?
Oh, Chris Van Vliet.
Van Vliet's always a good interview, man. I like his stuff. But yeah, they're like the back.
The PWE show.
There you go.
Friend of mine.
There you go. You're welcome. There's the cheap plug of the unintentional cheap plug of the week. Yes. Yeah, man. No, I saw their interview in the back. They were in like the back of a limo or something like that, and it was really really good 25-minute interview, and probably dipped into probably some of the same stuff. But yeah, man. You know what? I think at this point, I'm looking at it this way too, Josh. I think that, and again, no disrespect, but yes, we watch WWE, but ultimately we watch WWE, and at the end of the day, we fall in love with characters, with personalities, with the performers, right? Why have we really been watching New Japan Pro and Ring of Honor these past couple years? Absolutely, because we're wrestling fans. I've always kind of had so Ring of Honor I've always kind of watched from afar. But I'll admit, New Japan isn't something that I dip in, I kind of go in and out of. What kept us entertained? It's really been the Bucks, Kenny. You know what I mean? Cody, and I know Cody was signed to Ring of Honor and whatever, but it's just they were always around him, and I think it'd be I guess obviously anything can be debated today. People would debate me today's Thursday, because somewhere in the world it's not. But I would, in my opinion, I think that a lot of the reason why New Japan Pro got they're on Access, right? That's where them and I don't know channels anymore. Yeah. Shit, again, I worry about too much else. But I think that like New Japan Pro getting a TV deal, do they get that without the Elite and the Bullet Club? Probably not. So in my opinion, they already got a TV deal once. You know what I mean? Ring of Honor has always had a TV deal, but I know that it's getting, at least on Verizon Fios here in the Pittsburgh area, I see that it's on a lot more than what it used to. They replay it a lot more, those kinds of things. Right. Is that a direct correlation with, even Marty still being there some of the time, because I know that until certain guys at the Bullet Club were being, forefronted, I wasn't watching as much, but it also wasn't on television, here I didn't have it on Access or whatever, but I don't know. It just makes me feel like those are, there was some build up obviously beforehand, but there's a reason why they got that TV deal. And I just feel like it had a lot to do with the Elite guys. I mean, it's especially, Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, I think had a lot to do with that deal.
Well, I'm trying to remember this because they started putting New Japan on Access up. I think it was a little bit after Wrestle Kingdom 9. And this is when they had the Jeff Jarrett involvement and Jim Ross was in there. They had the little connection with Global Force Wrestling. I'm trying to remember if Mark Cuban was sold on the brand from that particular show to put it on Access or something beforehand. Because, when I watch New Japan over the years on the replays, on Access TV, their commercials would be about the main local Japanese performers like Okada and Tanahashi and Naito, and they'll mention Kenny here and there. But, a lot of it's hype too. We could make a debate on what is the reason why these guys are getting the opportunities they're getting or why they're getting the buzz. A lot of it is perception. A lot of it's hype. A lot of it's social media penetration. A lot of it is the buzz from being elite. Just like anything. Why did people cling on to Nirvana in the beginning? Why did people cling on to Metallica in the 80s when they first started as a big heavy metal band? There's a lot of different reasons as to why these type of things happen, and I'm not going to put it to one thing. Is it just Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks and that's it? This is because they got to deal with Hot Topic and Cracker Barrel and all these other places? I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily say that. No. But I think that
See, I don't know. I thought it was a big deal just a couple years ago that they got like a weekly show or something, or, you know, again, I could be totally off because I know where 2 channels are out of the like 1,000 channels that we get. I don't watch TV. But as of then, I'm going to talk about the show Gotham later. I don't watch TV, but
by the way,
for a show.
I want to give a shout out to Luke Stuckmeyer. He's a sports anchor here in Chicago for NBC Sports Chicago. I want to thank you because he brought up everything point I brought about Nielsen ratings in the past, and a lot of the talking points about AEW being competition or whatever for WWE is going to be whatever ratings they draw on whatever network they're going to be on. And he made the perfect point here. It's 2019. Do people really still have Nielsen boxes or get the magazines where they get the ratings book by book for what it is?
They look at Nielsen readings on the left-hand side of their monitor, while on the right-hand side of their monitor, they're watching clips from Raw the night before on YouTube because they didn't watch it. You know what I mean? It's
and Twitter, by the way, too. You can catch up on Raw or SmackDown on Twitter. You don't even have to watch the whole show.
Basically.
Think about that.
And then, I mean, technology is so screwed up too these days that this is why I don't, you know, and again, they always put the percentage of variance that you could have on these things. But like last week, SmackDown just didn't tape on my cable box for whatever reason, you know, and like I said, fortunately I was down, you know, visiting my dad. We were just kicking it and watching it, you know, just for some laughs or whatever. But, otherwise I wouldn't have seen any of the show. And it was just because I guess I had to reboot my cable box every couple of months now or something or other. I don't know. Technology, man. It's a young kid sport.
Did it record this week?
Yeah. Recorded.
All right, let's get to SmackDown.
Real quick, I got to get my Corey Graves moment into the week. I love that. I don't know if anybody picked up on when they were having a little melee out on a moment of bliss.
Oh, boy.
Here we go. Even go here was a great line. My daughter also appreciated that. We're a Mean Girls family and a big Nikki Cross family here, so well played.
The guy's a legend, man. I don't know how he does, man. That guy's fucking hilarious, man. I love him. He's awesome.
It kills me that I don't know. Everyone's a critic and everyone's cynical, but I don't understand how people don't enjoy his humor because it's typically just cynical, just sarcastic bullshit. You know what I mean? Like I don't know.
What did he say the other day when they had the broadside at SmackDown? He's like, "Get off my lap, Phillips." Like Asuka and Becky were brawling over. Get off my lap, Phillips.
Yeah.
Oh God. It still gets me when they had like the aftermath of that, like Alexa Bliss rope segment, and it's like he's holding Michael Cole's shoulders. He's like, "Hold me! I don't want to lose it on there."
On SmackDown. So if you guys have DVR and you still have it on DVR or whatever, and I guess it was after the little melee, and Graves was like behind Phillips. If you look right to the right of both of them, there's a dude in the crowd that looks like a fat Finn Balor. Not fat, but like Finn Balor never worked out and just became like a normal dude like me or you or anybody that's watching this, you know what I mean? Like, it's just he didn't become like this superhuman like freak of nature that is cut like goddamn. It's disgusting. But that's also neither here nor there.
Yes.
But there's a dude that's like right by. But I swear to God, I was laughing so hard, and maybe it's just because I look at everything basically as like I look at life as a TV show anymore. Like I look at just everything as a scene, which is probably a sickness too. Also, neither here nor there. But go back and check it out though, because like you'll see Graves hiding behind Phillips, but if you look to the right, it looks like a fat Finn Balor, husky Finn Balor. Fat is that's not a bad term. Husky, maybe stocky.
Probably, yeah.
Like he had 3 too many Cheetos every day for the past 10,000 days.
10,000 days. All right, let's try to see what else stood out to me. Let me say this, man. Like, I want to make it clear for the fans that we should not take the quality of the matches that we've been getting recently for granted. In a lot of ways, I was thinking about this a lot, especially for like sports fans when like certain teams like get on a run for like 3 or 5 years, even if they don't like win titles. Let's say like fuck the Steelers, screw them.
Steelers. I have no ill will towards the Steelers. I just live in Pittsburgh, so it just gets nauseating hearing about them all the time. That's all.
Okay, let's say like a team like the Seahawks. or like the Broncos or some of these other teams.
Oh, we see. What's funny is we can't make it the Raiders because you're going to say, oh, sometimes they get through hot streaks and cold streaks, and the Raiders don't go through hot streaks. We can't use the Raiders as an example here, huh? We're going to keep shoveling that dirt right on top of my team as we're leaving town, huh? One foot in the gutter and one fist in the gold, baby.
Is that my revenge for last week?
No.
Bad memories.
We haven't had a starting quarterback in the playoffs since 2002 or something like that. I don't count a couple years ago. Whenever
we have a tie in that playoff game though. Connor Cook came from Illinois, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately he came. That's the problem. He was there. He was present. That's the problem.
Mm-hmm. Take a swig of water in the words of Stone Cold Steve Austin. No, my point was when you have a team that gets on a hot streak for a couple of years, and you're enjoying their content, and what they're bringing. It's like you can't take that for granted because it's not guaranteed all the time. Mm-hmm. I think this era of wrestling and the quality of television matches that we've been getting recently has been something that I appreciate as a guy who spends probably more time than I should on the content than anybody else who would watch it on a regular week. Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre, for example, on Raw this Monday. I thought that was a great match. The stuff that Rey Mysterio and Andrade did not only Tuesday but the week before, I thought that was it's just a lot of fun.
No Zelina Vega this week, huh?
Huh?
No Zelina Vega this week.
Oh yeah, she was banned from ringside.
Mm-hmm. No Tranquila, no Tranquilo. I didn't watch the match. See, there's where your draw. No, I shouldn't say that because I actually love Andrade's work, and I don't want to make it seem like I'm being a hater here. So I'm just skipping over that joke.
You get my point, though, right?
Yeah, and you know what, Josh? I actually think that we're all guilty of this because I talk on here every week that I admittedly do not watch any of the matches during the course of Raw or SmackDown at all. I watch pay-per-view matches only. I have a lot of stuff I have to do. The fact that I still watch these shows every week and as many shows as I do is kind of insane. So I feel like I give the wrestling industry enough hours of my life a week. Now, that being said, though, Josh, I think that it's because not only is there so much out there just wrestling-wise, there's so much out there just in general. Now, not for all of us. I usually have one show at a time. I'm not a big TV dude. And Gotham's about to go off, so I really don't have that go-to show like that. Oh, I can't wait. Watchmen is supposed to be coming on HBO this year, so I'm kind of looking forward to that. But maybe, I'm kind of like a man without a show, so to speak. But my wife, she is bigger, and she's a big theater buff. She's big into storytelling and everything that way. So it's not like she's a TV nerd that way. She's into it for different reasons. She's in theater. Now, that being said, there's so much out there, whether it's Netflix, television, cable, streaming, here, there, Clomper. Got to get Clomper. I don't even remember the Mark Maron joke. But it's there's so much out. Right now, she's always watching something. Where are you getting all these shows from? There's if it's not on Comedy Central, I might probably don't know about it. You know what I mean? There's not that many channels that I watch, other than trying to keep up with all the news bullshit that everybody's going to have to toss around me. So I like to watch all those outlets. So when I get pigeonholed as something, I like to defend myself. But I don't know, man. I think it's not just, but I think that's what it is, that we live such a busy on-demand lives now. We do take what we have for granted because we're already thinking about, okay, what's next? You know what I mean? We don't take the time. It's lately, and this is something, again, maybe I'm just getting old. Maybe I'm just tired of it. When it's time for me, when I sit down and watch wrestling now, my phone is not in my hand. I used to play Supercard during it, or go on Twitter, just bullshit with people. And it's you know what? It was all distractions. I was never really enjoying a show because I really wasn't paying attention. Same for football games, movies that I would try and watch, whatever. So it's when I have time to break away from work and parenting and husbanding and cleaning and, you know what I mean, all the things that an adult has to do in their life. I just don't want to deal with any other riffraff. So it's I guess that's the difference now. You know what I mean? Like there's too many people and then it keeps going back to the same thing. We're allowing other things to interfere with what, you know, so instead of thinking about that next show, like, okay, I'm watching Raw now. If I hurry up and get through this, I can get to SmackDown. I wonder what's happening on SmackDown. You're not really paying attention to Raw, right? You know, and I caught myself this week doing that. I was going to watch Raw and SmackDown back to back, but I felt like I needed that break in days just so I could the next day say, okay, let me just hit the reset button, refresh my day a little bit. And, you know, too much TV in one day for me, I can't do. My mind starts to wander, and then it's a scary, scary place in there. If you think Arkham's scary, this bad boy is a dungeon.
Yeah. I think a lot of times we could abuse our mindsets with just the need of knowing what's going on.
That's part of it.
Twitter and Facebook every 5 to 10 minutes, and I had a better appreciation for the Bears this season because I put my phone down and I wasn't worried about the computer while the games were going. I just watched it, and it's the same approach I have when I do the articles each week. It's like I gotta focus on what's going on in the show, and it gives me a deeper appreciation of what they're telling in their stories or this and that. If it was if our show was talking about booking each week, which we don't. Mm-hmm. I could tell things that they're doing in the ring that justifies the feud that they're having, that some people who may be watching the show just live tweeting their thought in their head while the match is going on, that stuff goes over their heads. So, you know, there's a lot of ways we could detoxize ourselves from that type of need of being on social media and we talk about it every time on the show. Got to be in my feelings. This is my feeling. Take it or leave it. You know what? That whole mindset. That we need a break from that a lot of times. And honestly, a lot of times for me, I feel ashamed the fact that people can't have face-to-face conversations anymore. Mm-hmm. Hell, people can barely even have phone conversations with people anymore. It's okay, let's rush this thing, hang, click, you know.
And then the flip side of it, here's what kills me too, is everyone is constantly, and again, I went through a phase too, guys. That's why I'm saying I've grown and I understand the error in my ways and how we're going to look back at this decade as the social media debacle that almost ruined America and the rest of the world. Depending on where you live, I'm not trying to leave you guys out of this mess because you guys are just as guilty. But there's a rule that my dad and I have where it's okay, if the Steelers are on, I know not to mess with them, not to text them, not to, we'll talk after the game just in case. When the Raiders are on, he knows to leave me alone. After the game, we'll talk, that kind of stuff. Why don't we do that with everything? You know what I mean? We want to go on, and I hate to say this like strangers. I've met some really great people on Twitter and through social media, Facebook, Instagram, whatever. I'm still friends with to this day. That being said, you're still just a lot of you that just have public profiles. Where you're just all these blabbermouths, just nonsense, just vomit, word vomit. That's just going all over the place all the time. You wouldn't do that to your friends or family. Why are you going to do that to the public? Who the hell do you think you are? You ain't nobody important. You got 60 followers. You know what I mean? Stop it. Stop. I know you're alone, but just watch the game, enjoy it, then call a family member afterwards. It maybe your life will improve.
Yeah. I'm not your typical millennial or anything you want to label from my generation. You'd be a lot of people would be surprised. Adam would know this. Not a lot of people know how much time I actually have to myself where I'm just having thoughts in my head and I'm not really that concerned about what's going on Twitter-wise or whatever, or just whatever. I have my moments here and there. I'll play video games and stuff as a distraction, just like any other dude would. But it's not where I'm spending 8 hours like I would as a kid when I was younger. And I had nothing else to do. It's we were programmed as robots as kids. All right, wake up, take your shower, do everything, go to school, have dinner, hear my parents bicker with each other because what else is new, and then play video games before you go to sleep. Like a lot of kids from my generation can relate to it. We're just trained that way. This is how it is. yada, yada, yada. And then as years gone by and I kind of separated myself from certain people from my own family and become more independent in a lot of ways, I have more time to think about my surroundings, what I should be cognizant of, and like things I should and should not do. And it's kind of different from a lot of people. I think a lot of people are naive to the situation because they are so fundamentally trained to have this certain mindset every single day, go through routines, stick by family traditions, that you're not really finding yourself in the process. You're really not.
Well, to keep up with the generational thing, and for anybody to watch Saturday Night Live this week, like Keenan Thompson said, "Hey, I'm Generation X. We just sit back like a WrestleMania referee and just don't do nothing and watch everything happen." But we sit back and watch the world burn, baby. So that's us Gen Xers. Now, you know what, man? I just think it's not even a generational thing anymore. It's become. I had to talk with a couple different people this week. I just think it's a mindset now that everybody's self-importance is and I always talk about know your self-worth but realistically know your self-worth. You know what I mean? Like I knock myself down a lot, probably more so than I should, just to keep myself at a grounded point so that I don't overinflate myself. I think we have too many people that are overinflating themselves, and they think that their worth is a little bit more valuable than what it is. No offense. And again, I know I'm an ageist. It's so bad. Once you get older and you get out of certain 9-to-5 jobs, you see the world much differently when you're always the dumbest guy in the room and you're working with you see how different the world can be and how a lot of this trivial argumentative culture that we've become it's scary in a way because there's always division on everything. It always has to be polarization. We talk about this ad nauseum, so that's not it's not going to be a dead horse to beat today, but
right.
But it's just I think that it just goes back to it with everything that we're talking about with people because in a way we kind of started on this by just people flip flopping from AEW or from WWE to AEW, and it kind of this is where we got from here, but. Yeah, I just think, and no matter what, Josh, I think it's going to come down to we're never going to be able to please all the wrestling fans because everybody thinks they know it all, and everybody because they know people that think the same way they do, they must have the same, they must be right. Well, if you're right, then fucking open your own wrestling organization and compete against WWE and AEW and New Japan Pro and Ring of Honor and everybody else that's out there.
Right. By the way, I wonder sometimes with the people that troll other people on social media and stuff, and they have their egg profiles, I'm by the way, folks,
souls.
By the way, folks, I don't know about you guys, but I never look into other people's likes or scroll down people's timelines. I just have a weird feeling about that. I think there's some privacy that some people deserve along the way. I know what you're signing up for, you're putting your life out there on social media, this and that, but in certain contexts, I don't scroll down through a lot of my friends timelines, so there's something I don't do. You have your regular timeline feed when you sign in, just the batch of all the shit you see on there, but I'm curious, sometimes people will retweet anything, even if they don't agree with it, like this. It's just that little tick in you, you got when you're so framed in pessimism, the little thing you find it, there you go, ding, ding, ding. I find that sad in a lot of ways.
Well, yeah, well, that's where we're at, though. You know what I mean? That's why when we talk wrestling, we always talk about what we like, and I know we say that it's easy to criticize. Anything could be criticized. Every show could be criticized. You know what I mean? But in a way, I was thinking about that this week. For as much as people knock WWE and Raw or SmackDown and say it was this, it was that, if it, and everything has flaws, but let's say the flaws that you really want to harp on. You know what? If not for those flaws, we wouldn't be getting AEW, So remember, with every mistake, there's a learning lesson and there's an improvement that can be made, not only within WWE, but another company that's trying to compete with WWE. So let's not knock the bad times, because there was a time in 95, late 94, 95, 90, early 96, where I really wasn't watching wrestling at all. And for as diehard as I am, I just couldn't stomach it anymore. Not to here's the joke of the week. I mean, there were characters like, I believe the Repo Man was creeping around. Duke Drozier was around there. You know what I mean? We had some, but I mean, it was like Skinner. You know what I mean? The weird blue collar type of jobs like heavy machinery. Not to just toss some salt in the wound there. But you know what? We need those moments of like, man, I wish they could do this better, so that other companies can do it better, right? Or differently, so that we feel that it's better, so that then WWE again, it goes back to, we need there to be competition. We need there to be flaws, and there's always going to be flaws. You don't watch, like you keep referencing football. No team plays perfect for 4 quarters ever. No. Every game would be 77-70 or something like that. You know what I mean? It would just be touched. It's just you still have 3 and outs. You still have, and to our international fans, I know this sounds absolutely ridiculous that we're talking American football and relating it to wrestling, and you're right. It is absolutely ridiculous. But with that being said, man, nothing that we watch is flawless front to back. We could pick apart anything we wanted to. Again, why do we choose to?
Right. I got a perfect way to wrap a ribbon on this bow right here. Like, Kona Reeves would have been a big star in '94. By the way, I'm sure.
You say Ryan Reeves Ryback? We talking about Skip?
No. This is gonna be our transition.
Probably would have been.
This is gonna be our transition to NXT, and I know our good buddy
would have been big in the '90s. Seriously, I hate this. He would have been huge in '94. Go on though.
I know our boy Nick Giacobbe would be cringing right now, and his buddy Phil as well would be cringing.
Listen, I'm not a Ryback fan.
No, it's not Ryback. You need to go on YouTube and type in Kona Reeves and just look at his outfit and stuff, and he'll be the perfect character for that era. Ryback.
I know. I was just trying to really drive Ryback jokes into the ground, because once I have to see him at Raider games in Vegas, because I'm pretty sure he still lives in Vegas.
By the way, I don't know why his podcast page liked one of our show posts the other day on Instagram. I found that strange. I don't know if he's listening to the show or not, but
that's man. I've always said I dig all the knocks or whatever. I dig the fact that Ryback was able to branch off, and again, man, this is what's big about just not only the WWE experience and getting in there for a little while, but just keeping that hustle going and not stopping. Say what you want to about Ryback, but he's doing his thing. We all laughed, right? But he has kind of self-branded himself and made himself a self-made man. And he's successful doing so. Don't knock the hustle, baby. I'll never knock a hustle, man. I respect Ryback for what he did.
So Ryback was a original member of NXT, and coming up this Saturday, we got NXT TakeOver Phoenix. These freaking cities and arenas changed their name of their arenas more than divorces these days. It's insane. I don't know what arena they're going to be in this weekend. I think it's the Talking Stick Resort Arena. I could be wrong.
Talking Heads?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
It's going to be new wave. I want them to play only new wave music.
New wave music. So NXT TakeOver Phoenix coming up this Saturday. 5 matches on the show. Triple H had his pre-TakeOver conference call yesterday. I listened to a little bit of that yesterday. I find it very interesting that guys like Adam Cole and Velveteen Dream are not on this show, especially with it being on a big weekend like that. But I understand a lot of people are expecting them to make appearances in the Rumble match, so that could be a reason too. But also, I'll say this: there's some interesting matches here coming up on Saturday. NXT TakeOver Phoenix got a pretty interesting card. You got Undisputed Era against the War Raiders. I'm really excited for that match. This could be a really good tag team wrestling match. If you thought the match that Mustache Mountain had with James Drake and Zach Gibson was pretty good, make sure to check out Undisputed Era against the War Raiders. This could be a fun match to watch. We'll get our predictions in a couple minutes, but I gotta catch up Brother Joseph here on NXT. He doesn't get the opportunity to watch all the shows each week.
Can we change it for Brother Joseph to something else? Because I'm gonna drop that name. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, Yeah, I don't like Joseph at all. It's such a generic name. I hate it. I hate my middle name.
I don't know how I feel about my middle name being Adam.
Plus, I don't like Adam. Information that like people get IDs ripped and stuff. I weirdly think about all this stuff now. Whenever I like the world's a weird, super weird place, man. I'm so weird about. I don't even like this. Like I don't like this. I'm so glad this is taken down because this little square thing and all these people out there. I don't like
this. I don't mind calling Brother Carter because he is a Brother Carter. Like if you know Derek Stoughton, he just is a Brother Carter. It is what it is.
I could see him going door to door asking if knocking, saying, "Hey, do you have a couple minutes so I could talk to you about your Lord and Savior Jesus Christ?" But like it would be like, "Do you have a couple minutes so I could talk to you about our Lord and Savior Vince McMahon?" And he's like, but still, he's in like the old the Right to Censor outfits, so they look super like super Jehovah's Witness, like I have friends that are Jehovah's, so please, I'm not knocking. My family's crazy Italian Catholics, so I don't know. I'm not a part of a church, but and thankfully in Pennsylvania, it's a good thing. Doing ching.
We both come from crazy backgrounds, both of us. Yeah, but, oh man. All right, let's get into the show really quick. Matt Riddle is taking on Cassius Ohno. This could be a rematch from their TakeOver LA show. You saw the beginning part of it. It was like 30 seconds or whatever. Ohno was talking crap about Riddle. Riddle knocked him out in like 30 seconds. They continued the feud after that TakeOver was over. I think this match will probably be a little bit longer. Probably not as long as a regular like TakeOver match, but should be interesting. But I think Matt Riddle will make quick work of Ohno this way.
Yeah, I mean, I think Cassius Ohno puts everybody over, right? I don't know. I missed it. I missed the match last time. I think we started it late or something. I started it late. But for whatever reason, yeah. And I haven't seen NXT lately. It's something I haven't really seen. So I don't want to, I guess I'm just predicting, probably like most people on the internet do anyway. So it makes sense. I'll go with Matt Riddle though too. Yeah. I think they want him to start hot. And Cassius does the right thing by putting people over.
Yeah. By the way, there's a NXT tag team. I want you guys to check out Fabian Eichner and Barthel from the UK brand. These guys are fucking good, man. Together, they're really, really good, man. I'm excited for them. They haven't really had a chance to cut promos recently, but just watching their matches over the last couple of months, these guys are fucking good, man. And I thought Eichner was one of the better performers in the Cruiserweight Classic. Man, I can't believe that's already been 2 years ago. Holy moly.
Crazy. Yeah.
So I want to give a shout out to those guys because they put on a pretty good match with Lorcan and Danny Burch on NXT this week. Speaking of NXT, I also mentioned a couple minutes ago, Undisputed Era against the War Raiders. Who you got in this one?
Who holds the titles right now? Is this it? Undisputed Era still got them, right? Yeah, man. Maybe I'll go with the War Raiders on this one.
Yeah, me too. I think the War Raiders are going to win. Actually, I think Undisputed Era are going to the main roster.
Yeah, I didn't get into that yet, but yes, I agree.
Yeah, I think that's going to happen sooner or later. I like the War Raiders. I saw that little video you were telling me about with Ray Rowe and Sarah Logan and their Viking wedding. I got to watch that. That was pretty cool.
I didn't see that. I didn't see that.
You didn't see that? I thought you.
No, I didn't see that. That's
awesome. Yeah, they put it. They got a separate channel called the WWE PC where they do little biopics about performers in the Performance Center.
Okay.
I thought it was pretty cool. Actually, it wasn't long. It was like 10, 15 minutes on YouTube.
That's super cool. Yeah. Ray Rowe's a good guy. I shared a locker room with him once, and he was very intimidating and scary. And yes. Frightening.
Beat everybody up. Yeah. I'm excited for that match. That should be a lot of fun. I'm going to agree with AJ really quick because I think Gargano and Ricochet could be one of those matches everybody talks about throughout the week. Like, you think about it. Johnny Gargano against Ricochet, like, as a transcriber, like, I'm excited for it. In a lot of ways, I'm not, because my fingers are probably going to fall off by the end of the match. Just trying to catch, not what they do. It's just like the speed through like the hot parts of the matches, the sequences and stuff. Like how many times you could be like, okay, this guy goes for a hurricane and lands back and see the guy does sequence the other way. You know, right. it's gonna be a challenge that I'm looking forward to. But these guys are gonna tear it up, man. I'm really excited for this match.
Yeah, my daughter was saying she really likes this because they remind her a lot of Mustafa Ali. So see what I mean? Like all the old heads out there saying, you know, all this stuff is there. Nothing is being done the right way. My little 9-year-old is now watching Being the Elite, New Japan Pro, Ring of Honor, NXT,
all of
it, SmackDown and Raw. I don't know. I think the business is pretty healthy, but yeah, I don't know. With this one, I'm probably going to go with. Oh, man. They just put the title on Ricochet not too long ago, didn't they? Like you TakeOver or something like that?
He got it in Brooklyn, I think. Yes. Ricochet won the title in Brooklyn against Adam Cole. I remember. Yep.
I'll probably stick with Ricochet on this one then.
I'm going to go with Ricochet as well. I don't know, man. Johnny Gargano's been in NXT for a long time. This is his last hurrah.
Thought about with him, Ciampa, and really Aleister Black too.
Man, that's gonna be an interesting main event. We'll get to that in a couple minutes. Here we go, the ladies match. I'm excited for this one actually because they've been kind of overdoing the Shayna Baszler, Kairi Sane matches. Mm-hmm. So the fact that Bianca Belair is getting a shot this time, I think, is pretty cool. You know, she's a very interesting character. I think she fits well with the modern culture today. I think she does a good job in the ring for a girl who did not have a wrestling background. So this will be very interesting. You know, it's going to be an interesting type of match. Triple H just gave Shayna Baszler a lot of props in the conference call yesterday, so I thought that was cool. It's a different matchup. I am going with Bianca Belair, actually, to defeat Shayna Baszler.
I think so too. I think we see Baszler in the Rumble.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I do. That's kind of where I'm going with that. And I'm not saying that Baszler's going to be up full time. That's not what I'm saying either. But I don't know. Just to have a hunch, it's the right time.
You usually get around 2 to 3 NXT guys in each Rumble match per year. Now, the fact that we're doing women annually, I think that's pretty cool. So you'll get some of the female NXT female performers in the match as well.
Right.
So, yeah, I see Baszler in there. And then Tommaso Ciampa, Aleister Black, full main event. Just be very excited. You know, both guys got really good entrances. I still think Aleister Black still has the best entrance. And I'm biased. Aleister Black's my favorite wrestler in NXT. The guy's just fucking awesome. I love that dude. This match could be a lot of fun. I do think Tommaso Ciampa will find a way to retain, though.
Yeah, I don't know. I could see on one end where it's time probably for Ciampa to get the call up. I could see that with Aleister Black too. You know, I almost feel like whoever loses this might be in the Rumble. Hell, whoever wins this might be in the Rumble for all we know.
Let me say this real quick. Going back to Raw real quick, when I saw Zack Ryder make the save for Kurt Hawkins, I was like, okay, all 4 guys. This is like the AEW Invitational segment.
Kind of, yeah. I paid money to see it. No.
Yeah, so Tommaso Ciampa, Aleister Black, that's going to be a lot of fun. I think that's the match I'm looking forward to the most besides Gargano and Ricochet for NXT, because the Rumble's got some really good matches as well. This is not something where, NXT's going to be awesome and the Rumble's going to suck. It's not the case. We got 2 really exciting shows, really good shows coming our way this weekend. It's going to be a lot of fun to see where these angles go and this and that. So I'm excited for TakeOver on Saturday.
Yeah, what I like about TakeOver too is they never overdo it. Like, you know, you're not going to be sitting there for like, you know, I think they realized TakeOver, that 2.5 hour mark for TakeOvers is that sweet spot, and they always tend to hit like right around there, and that's perfect. I think for the amount of matches, just the length of matches, the talent that they have down there. It's nice, you know. But again, different product. That's why I'm not knocking one over the other. It's just an observation that, you know, I want to watch Saturday Night Live too. You know, I got other things I got to do on a Saturday night, man. Again,
man.
168 hours. I don't got that much free time in my week. I got like 15 free hours. Vince, I give you like 10 of them.
Let me say this though. I think it's smart that they're doing NXT on Friday, WrestleMania weekend, as opposed to the night before. I didn't think it was a good idea last year, to be honest with you. I was at the show. I had a good time. A lot of people say that TakeOver New Orleans is one of the best wrestling shows in the last 5 years. Me and brother had a blast watching that show in New Orleans. It was a lot of fun. But just me personally, I think that NXT TakeOver should not be the night before WrestleMania. That show is long as it is because it is WrestleMania. Right. I don't know.
Plus, well, I don't think you want to move the Hall of Fame either. That's ultimately why it's on Friday, you know. And the Hall of Fame, the tradition of having that the night before WrestleMania, I think is more important than having NXT the night before WrestleMania. You know what I mean? Because it's NXT almost brings. I mean, the dirty little secret is most of us used to go down and there would be a Ring of Honor show, typically on Friday, Saturdays, the same weekend as WrestleMania. And we would fly down early and try and hit up Ring of Honor on a Friday night. And then Saturday night, just go party or go to the Hall of Fame, do whatever you want to do. Sunday, WrestleMania. Monday, Raw. Tuesday, everybody either flew home or just continued their holiday or vacation or whatever you call it. So I think in a way it's driving more WWE/NXT fans down to WrestleMania cities just earlier. You know, I mean, because there was a lot of wrestling fans that were going down for the week anyway, just to go down for the weekend, just to go down for different events, you know, WrestleCon, just whatever, you name it, you know. But I think this is getting more of the quasi-passionate but still semi-casual fan. It gets them down there, you know, a day earlier than what they normally would.
Right. And, you know, if you count the actual, like, in-ring content for not just WWE that weekend, but, like, all the other companies at WrestleCon.
So much.
You got almost, like, 50 hours of wrestling content throughout those 5 days. Because you got Raw and SmackDown, too, now in the same city for WrestleMania. It's a lot. It's a lot of content. You know, I've been having a lot of fun going on these WrestleMania trips the last couple of years. You know, I would say I have the money to go to New York if I want to. It's just a hotel thing that is kind of getting in the way of going this year to WrestleMania because it's New York and I don't know what's going to be Uber prices going back from Brooklyn all the way to New Jersey. They got Raw, SmackDown, and NXT at Barclays, and they got Mania at the MetLife Stadium. So it's that type of thing I'm kind of juggling right now. But
right,
yeah.
I will admit, New York was one that we always said that if Mania was in New York, probably weren't going. You know what I mean? So in a way, we already had this one crossed off and weren't even thinking about going. But like you and I were talking, I kind of just want to go up for the weekend because Muse is also playing. They might have a show the same night as Raw, except at MSG, not the Barclays. I kind of want to come up for the Muse concert and just party with all my wrestling friends for the weekend. But I don't know.
Like even if it was like a 3-day thing, like we would go check out the ROH New Japan MSG show and then check out Muse that Monday. Like we find like somewhere to like watch WrestleMania obviously that Sunday, but like I don't know. We'll see what happens.
New York is up in the air. Toronto is might be looking pretty good. I don't know. We'll that's as the year goes on though. It's early.
I am pretty excited for Survivor Series to come here this year. I'm looking forward to that. That should be a lot of fun.
I just want our government to start running, so maybe we'll get our taxes back before May this year, unlike last year.
I do like that WWE's keeping the tradition of it because this would be the 30th anniversary of the Rumble at the Horizon.
Oh, okay.
'89, I think, was the last one they did here. So.
Okay.
It's pretty cool. Let's get into the Royal Rumble. We got a lot of stuff to get into. It's like who we can see winning it, this and that. I'm really excited. This is one of the better undercards for the Rumble I've seen in the last couple of years. I'm really excited for some of these title matches that are going to be on the show. We got 2 matches on the kickoff show this year. We got Rusev and Nakamura for the U.S. title. And then the 4-way cruiserweight match is going to be on the kickoff show as well. So let's start off with Nakamura and Rusev first.
Sure. Is this even still a thing? Like, I'm surprised this is still a thing. So they really haven't done much with this since Rusev took the title. I guess Rusev. I don't know.
Well, the thing with this feud that's been what's going on after Rusev won the titles, Nakamura. Yeah, Nakamura has been laying out everybody. He's like attacking him from behind. He accidentally hit Lana, this and that. Rusev is pissed. He's going to crush him and this and that. It could be something where it's like a DQ or something like that. But I also would not be surprised if Nakamura regained the title again. So we'll see what goes out from there. Let's talk about the cruiserweight match. This one's going to be a pretty good one, actually. I'm looking forward to it. By the way, shout out to Tozawa, Itami, and Kalisto. Had a really solid triple threat match at 205 Live this week. So it's going to be Itami, Kalisto, and Tozawa against our guy, Buddy Murphy. Buddy Murphy is still the
our guy. Did you just loop into that? Did you just loop me into that?
Are you not a Buddy Murphy guy? I'm sorry.
I don't watch. I think I would think it would be unfair for me to say that I'm an anybody guy on 205 just because I don't watch it. You know what I mean? Because I will admittedly I was always kind of a Mustafa Ali guy, but now he's on SmackDown, so it's like I don't. You know what I mean? I feel it's a disservice to just say I like Buddy Murphy. I like the match he had up at the whatever they had in
the Australia show. Yeah,
Australia, wherever the world tour was this year.
Yeah, the world tour.
But I can't think claim to beating any. I don't have a guy, I guess, in 205 Live. I don't want to seem too markish.
Yeah, that's on me. I'm sorry for that.
I just need to watch the show more, to be honest.
Yeah,
that's more on me than anything else.
But anyways, yeah, Buddy Murphy, Kalisto, Itami, and Tozawa, international warfare, as I like to call it. It's going to be a fun match to watch, but I think Murphy...
It's got the ethnic wars going. Nice.
What you got, brother?
I think half of what you just said, you sneezed at me, and then, but so I got Buddy Murphy out of that though. So we'll go. No, you know what, man? I know you said Tozawa's in it, Itami's in it. I don't even.
Yep.
And Kalisto. Oh God, damn! This is kind of for me. It's an ugly 4-way. This will be the one match I criticize. Okay, cool. Keep it on, but keep it on Buddy Murphy. Yeah. Well, then, yeah, I am a Buddy Murphy guy. Yeah, screw these people.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay, I do know you're not a Lucha House Party guy.
No, God no. God no. And Itami, and I really don't feel like it was ever anything with Itami other than injuries after injuries after injuries, kind of. And then you sign Nakamura after him. Nakamura, you know what I mean? Itami kind of got lost in the shuffle, and I'm not saying that's his fault. I'm so indifferent on him now that I don't.
I know you haven't been watching, but before Mustafa Ali joined 205 Live, Itami had a really good rivalry with him. Tommy's been putting some good work recently. So I think it would be a fun match for those who do enjoy cruiserweight wrestling. Let's get to the other matches on the show. We got Miz and Shane McMahon, or as a good friend of mine would say, Team Daddy Issues against the Bar for SmackDown Tag Team titles. I think Miz and Shane are going to win, actually. I don't know where this thing's going. I
don't either.
But I also don't think that's a bad thing, though, too, in a way. I don't know if Miz is going to fight Shane McMahon, because that'd be the easy assumption to make that these guys would fight each other at WrestleMania. Who knows? Like, I remember Shane said that if you screw me over, there's going to be consequences for that. Does that mean him personally giving out consequences or somebody else doing the consequences for him? Like, is this something where he picks AJ Styles because the McMahon's been trying to get an anger out of AJ Styles? I don't know. Is it like there's many options to go about this, but I'm enjoying what they're doing. I think their little tag team's entertaining for what's been so far. So I'll go with Miz and Shane here.
I was actually just going to go with the Bar, but because Miz and Shane took the beatdown that they did, a lot of times you take that beatdown, you end up winning on Sunday. So I'll actually go with, I can't call them Team Daddy Issues. That's messed up. I'm going to go with the Miz and Shane. You people are wrong, man. You people got to say I'm wrong. Shit.
All right. Next one, Asuka and Becky for the SmackDown Women's title.
Asuka.
Yeah, me too. I got Asuka as well. I have a reason for that once we get to the
so do I.
Yep.
So do I.
I think we're both going to say the same.
And if we do, then it's something that's. See, I thought of something that's damn near. Let's keep going. Let's keep going.
Yeah. All right. So next one we got Ronda Rousey against Sasha Banks. Some people were kind of giving Ronda some crap for her promo before her match on
stumbled
the main event. Okay, that's fine. I mean,
not a big deal. Yeah,
but I'd rather see a performer who's showing passion that she is stumbling in her words because she's actually invested in what she's talking about. Like, are we as wrestling fans so like ingrained to a certain mindset that you can't mess up one word in a promo?
Do we forget some of Kurt Angle's first promos? And listen, I love Kurt Angle, so don't think that this is, but the first couple months of his career were like, ooh, come on, like, what, but obviously he caught on quick and it's, they knew what to play into. Let's give it time with Ronda. You know what I mean? She's still not even a year in. Like,
do you remember Randy Orton promos before he joined Evolution?
The RNN Randy News Network updates? Absolutely. They were fantastic. Thank you.
I still love the Matt Max, though. Version 1. That's still one of my favorite things of wrestling.
Which one? Oh,
version 1. Yeah.
Oh, great. It was great. The entrance.
Fantastic.
It was awesome.
Yeah. So, Asuka, I got her beating Becky.
Mm-hmm.
Next one we'll talk about here, Ronda and Sasha Banks. I think this will be a pretty good match, but I got Ronda retaining here.
Same thing. I got Ronda in this one, too. Again, going to be a good match, but I think they continue with Ronda.
Mm-hmm. Sasha and Bailey, last couple weeks I was talking about, one that we're going to turn on each other. I don't think that's going to be the case because they're going for the women's tag titles.
I think that's what they want us to believe.
Not unless Sasha or Bailey turn on each other in a chamber so they could have their big old match in New York at WrestleMania.
What if Bailey was the next one to earn a number one contender spot, though? And then that would put a monkey wrench into Sasha's plan. Say Sasha doesn't get the title, but Bailey's the next one to earn a number one, to wrestle at Elimination Chamber against Ronda. And then Sasha doesn't have a tag team partner.
Oh, that's right.
So Sasha gets mad, and then heel Sasha could then say, "You put yourself over our team." When meanwhile she's the one that just had the match, the singles match.
Exactly.
And then they could play into it that way, though, right? That's exactly how they would play. Boom, there you go.
Or for example, they have like a gauntlet match on Raw, and that winner will fight Ronda Rousey at Fastlane.
Correct. Is it Fastlane, and they're having a chamber match?
They're doing both. They're doing chamber in February and Fastlane in March.
What? Why?
I don't know why.
Okay. Oh, I didn't know that. Wow. We got 13 months this year. Did they add a month? Is it leap month?
It could be. I'm not sure.
Huh. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay.
Very interesting. All right. Next one.
Changes a lot of my things that could go. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Let's see what else match I could come up with real quick. Daniel Bryan against AJ Styles.
The new Daniel Bryan.
The new Daniel Bryan. That's correct. Yep.
Yeah.
By the way, he's been killing it on Twitter today. He's going in on Chase Field and their food offerings.
He's awesome. He's awesome.
By the way, what did you think about the baby boomer promo that he cut on SmackDown this week?
It was great. It was fantastic. I loved it. His promo Tuesday night was great. I love where they're going with the new Daniel Bryan.
Oh man, he's like the substitute teacher that I couldn't stand. Like he find ways just to piss you off by the way he talks about it, and he just looks down on everybody. I think it's awesome. That's
how I always tell people. That's how I was in high school, except about like drinking and drugs and stuff. Like I was real anti everything. Like I was worse than straight edge society punk. Like seriously, as a human, yeah, it was horrible. I was so preachy about it because I was straight edge and like was like family was very not straight edge, but I was straight edge, and so I only saw the worst of it. So yeah, dude, so much worse. So if you think the Daniel Bryan character is annoying, you would have hated me in my younger days when I was preachy. Don't drink, don't do drugs, kid. Oh.
I do get a kick out of it, though, with this character, because some fans would be like, hey, I got Wendy's. What are you going to say about that now, Daniel Bryan? Like, I think it's cool, the little back and forth with the fans now, where they're not doing the yes, 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 or no, no, no chance. They're like, okay, this is what I have. I can eat this if I want to. I can do this if I want to. It's fun. I think it's one of the better characters that hasn't been shown on a wrestling show for a while.
Yeah. Yeah,
at least with this society and how triggered people are.
Right. Yeah. No, for sure. I mean, it is similar to like any other like overly preachy character that they have.
I thought Jericho was great with that.
Yep. Again,
Edge was good with that.
Yeah. But this is the right time for it because it's everybody is super serial all the time, so it's the perfect time to push people's buttons.
Yeah, I got to do Daniel Bryan retaining here.
Yeah.
By the way, if Bryan does win, you think AJ Styles makes a Rumble appearance?
Potentially, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, potentially, yeah.
Okay. It's gonna be interesting because I think I said this before. I have a feeling that AJ Styles is gonna go to Raw soon.
We'll just say this: I think one of two people. Well, not one of two people, but I think one of the two losers from the championship match, whether it's Becky Lynch and Asuka, or it is AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan, I think that one of those losers is going to end up in a Royal Rumble.
Correct. I agree.
Yeah.
Let's get
the Women's Rumble is going to open the show, though.
You think it's going to open this show?
I think the Women's Rumble will open this year, and it'll close with the Men's Rumble.
It's interesting because I saw some people like, oh, Sasha needs to be in the Rumble match after the Ronda Rousey thing. I think Ronda and Sasha could start off this show.
Can I do, you know what, screw it. Can I just say what I think should happen with that 30 spot? Screw this. Let's just get to the fun stuff. Here's what should happen. I want Becky to lose, and I want Becky to lose her match against Asuka or get disqualified or whatever.
Right.
Just the way Rollins was cutting a promo the other night, talking about a man is going to stand there and a man is going to just how. And this isn't going to happen, guys. But what if Jinder got taken out and your number 30 was Becky Lynch in the Men's Royal Rumble? Now follow me on this one, right? I said this. Hold on, I'm going to put that up real quick. Follow me on this on that one. So you have Charlotte win the Women's Rumble,
right?
Listen, they had women in the Men's Rumble before. Beth Phoenix, Chyna a couple times, Karma, whatever. Just what if? And I know men's heads would explode, but let's say Becky Lynch was to win, just as a number 30, come in, just kind of get lucky and clean house and win that number 30 spot, or like win the quote unquote Men's Rumble. You could technically have two female Rumble winners, and they both could challenge Ronda, and that's how you set up the triple threat at Mania. Will it happen? Absolutely not. Would it be fantastic creatively to watch men's heads go fucking bonkers? Oh, I would do it every day of the week. I would enter Becky Lynch at number 30 and get Jinder Mahal out there and have her win the Men's Rumble as the man. It would make people's heads explode, and the media buzz would be unbelievable. For me, it's so win-win in that type of business. It's insane, but I just know that they're not going to do that. But that's my hope for Sunday. There we go.
Like we continue the trend of how to get like so many like dudes pissed off over like Rumble finishes. Like,
Absolutely.
I can totally see that.
And just watch how, like, but at the same time, they're also going to be celebrated on the other end of things. You know what I mean? So, because then again, we got to remember, as men, they're not placating to us anymore.
Don't forget the rules. They said that anybody who wins can choose any champion that they want to face.
That's it. R-Truth was going to go after the 205 Live Championship.
Oh, Lord. Yeah, I got Brock Lesnar beating Finn Balor, so I can see Finn making a slot there. By the way, there's 11 people left. Entrance slots available for the men's match. After Randy Orton joined the match on Sunday. That RKO was pretty sweet, though. On Samoa Joe to close SmackDown this week. I saw that they do well with the camera work with those RKOs, though.
Yeah, it literally came from out of nowhere.
Yeah. LOL. Yeah, I got Brock beating Finn here. I'll be happy for Finn. I want Finn to win. I'm tired of doing the whole thing. It's like Brady in the Super Bowl. As much as I'm indifferent on the Patriots and their team and this and that, and I want to see something different, you can't bet against them until they actually lose. So I'm going with Brock here.
I mean, everything for me would always say Brock Lesnar, but like I said earlier, I wouldn't be surprised, and I'll be the idiot just so because everybody wants to be that guy, right? It's all about being. I was the first to say I'll actually pick Finn Balor just for the hell of it, in a way, because I think that what if they really are in this whole we're going to listen to the fans thing? What if the rumors are true that they're going to start really kind of because they know there's there's options now for wrestling fans, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. That's a good thing. Only the fans win in these scenarios. So even though I still think Lesnar's going to win, I'll pick Balor just to be that guy.
Yeah. Paint or no paint?
Should be in the paint, but I don't think they're going to. I think he should be in the paints, though.
Yeah.
Should be playing in the paints on Sunday, I think.
By the way, the Demon did lose in the paint to Samoa Joe, in case people get pissy about that. It doesn't matter to me. I mean, it's cool that Finn's getting this.
Oh, down at NXT?
Yeah.
That don't count. It's NXT, man. That don't count. Not on the.
I'm happy for Finn that he's getting this shot on a big stage like this. So it's gonna be pretty cool. Let's get this out of the way because I know you want to talk about Gotham before we get out of here. Let's get our picks for the Rumbles matches out of the way. I had a couple ideas for like surprise entrances. I thought Victoria would be a good one for the females match. She hasn't been on television for a while. I met her in person. She's a really good person. I've seen her at AEW shows, not AEW. I don't want to confuse anybody. I think Victoria would be a nice surprise for a throwback. It'd be a little different for the other legends that you've been seeing over the last couple battle royals. It's going to be different. It's going to be interesting who they bring in because they've done a battle royal at Evolution where you saw the same people in the last year's Women's Rumble match. So who can you bring up on these shows?
NXT UK women, Rhea Ripley, Toni Storm. Those would be two good, because I think there's only 7 slots left on the women's side, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. I think you filled out with NXT and NXT UK people. Maybe you bring one person back for nostalgia, but I mean, I think this is where you should tap into that market and bring them in.
We talked about Shayna Baszler earlier too, so one of them. Man, I really split on this. The reason why I said Asuka was going to be Becky because I think they're going to do the Bret Hart Luger spot in the women's match where Becky and I think Becky and Charlotte are going to fall at the same time on the floor.
I don't want it. They always have to do this every once in a while, but I don't want it.
Hey, harsh reality, man.
I know.
They both get their chance at Ronda, yada, yada, yada. You get out of the way.
Now, here's what I do want, Josh. I would like to see now that I know there's that extra pay-per-view thrown in there. I mean, you realistically could have, if you do this double fall at the same time, one of them go against her at Fastlane, then one of them go against her at WrestleMania. If it is a triple threat at WrestleMania between Charlotte, Becky, and Ronda.
We'll close out the show.
we'll close out the show. I want your opinion on this one. I feel like it should absolutely be, and I'm not really like hard lined on any opinions with wrestling anymore.
Right.
In my opinion, I think that 100% it should be an elimination match. Like, not just a typical triple threat. Like, I think it absolutely, because then you could actually have Ronda, if you want her to pin or submit all 4 WWE horsewomen, or if you wanted to leave her, like, have her go through 3 of them, then have one person finally. But you know what I mean? Like, it would just, I think it would tell a much more complete story than her just beating two of the 4 in a triple threat. I don't know. It just would be more pleasing for me. Also being very selfish about that, so it's just a personal booking thing. But I don't know. What do you think about that, man?
No, I agree too. I think it would make up for the triple threat match that should have happened at the last New York WrestleMania with CM Punk, John Cena, and The Rock. So I could see that.
I didn't even think about that. See? I didn't even think about that. I wonder how many anti-CM Punk people were out there thinking about that. And Mr. quote unquote, Mr. CM Punk, I just totally even like, that's what I mean. Live in the moment, people. I don't know, man. I really don't. I'll admit, I really would prefer it to be just Becky versus Ronda, you know? But if they were going to do a triple threat, I'm totally open to it. But I would prefer it to be like the elimination style match.
And don't get us wrong. There's been classic WrestleMania triple threat matches.
Absolutely.
In the past.
Eddie, Kurt Angle, and Jericho had a fantastic one.
Yes. Both titles were on the line too, right?
The European and Intercontinental.
Man. Well, 2000, right? I'm trying to get this right. Yep.
Mania 2000.
Don't forget the Hardys, Dudley Boy, the Christian series. Yep.
No, I think I just outed myself today as a nerd, so I'm done with that for the day.
Drop the gallows.
68 hours.
All right, Men's Rumbles match. Man.
Becky Lynch. Oh, as my voice. Did you hear my prepubescent voice just creep out of my body right there? Holy shit! There's some sort of like young child haunting this grown man's body, and he's trying to crawl out. Okay, so let me try that again. Becky Lynch. There, that's better.
I think
that's not going to happen. You first, then I'll go. Jokes aside.
Kenny Omega is going to be in a Rumble match.
You think so?
I think they're going to do what they did with Reigns and AJ a couple years ago. So Seth Rollins is going number 1, and Kenny Omega goes number 2.
Well, he was number 3. Styles came out.
3, yeah, that's right. Rusev was number 2. Yep, I remember. Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. Listen, in my heart, I'll admit there was a part of me that really, 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 really hopes that you're right, because that was like the last holdout. But I think his contract doesn't run out until February 1st, right?
I
think he's actually still under contract with New Japan until February 1st. So I think it's kind of a non-issue. But I am absolutely okay with Omega coming in, you know, for even if it's for like a little 3-month program, and then he goes to All Elite Wrestling.
Yeah.
I don't see where there's a problem there either, you know?
Either way, I do think Seth Rollins will be number 1 to start off the Rumble.
I'm kind of getting that feeling too. Yeah, it's getting a CM Punk vibe out of it. Like back in, I was thinking more of in 2014 when Punk started, and then Rollins was number 2. Yeah.
A lot of things with the Rumble match, always people like to figure out who's going to be the final 4, right?
Ziggler and Jericho.
Like every time.
Yeah, Ziggler opened up at number 1. Jericho made a return at number 2. So there's so much they could do at the beginning here.
That was a cool moment. I remember Daniel Bryan was number 1 before in the Rumble match. I'm trying to remember which one it was.
It was the greatest Royal Rumble, Josh. The greatest Royal Rumble. Not a Royal Rumble, the greatest. Because the Saudi prince says so. Is that a shirt yet? Because it shouldn't be, ever.
No. Hopefully not. Yeah. I'll say this, though. They are in the baseball stadium. Titus will be sliding in that Rumble match.
They're somehow going to make a spot out of that, huh? There's going to be a little part of like the baseball diamond out or something.
I do hope that for the Rumble matches, they have the entrance come out of the dugouts.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have a little different entranceway to the ring.
Yeah, that would be cool. I just saw that was what Wrestle Kingdom was like that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Dugouts, yeah.
When they used to do the New Japan Rumble in the pre-shows, they would have the guys come out and dugouts and stuff. I think it'd be a nice visual, to be honest with you.
Yeah, would be cool.
Man, I'm curious to see what the stage is going to look like. The baseball scene, like WrestleMania 19 stage, is still one of my favorites.
It was cool, man. It was cool. They had the field set up nice. There really wasn't a bad seat, at least not from. We were. I thought we were in nosebleeds, and we weren't. We were in some pretty good seats.
I'm going to tell you guys right now, there's not one, like, this person has to win the men's match for me right now. I don't have that guy right now. I really don't.
And I don't think the winner of the men's match challenges Brock Lesnar anyway. I have a feeling the winner of the men's match challenges Daniel Bryan.
I'm just kind of hoping that Brock Lesnar just gets his UFC fight out of the way before WrestleMania so he can get his ass whipped already. And then it's like, okay, you already put a bad look on in our company's name. Here, give us our fucking title back.
So I'm saying, I thought it was weird that his title didn't have his, he probably just forgot the title at home and it's not that big of a deal. And they just said, here you go, just walk out with this,
Right. I mean, will people be pissed off if Ambrose wins? I don't know.
I'd let that's one that I wouldn't mind seeing Ambrose win. I wouldn't mind seeing Rollins win. Styles. There's a list of probably a good 7 or 8 people that I would be absolutely okay with, coming out of it, including the man, Becky Lynch. Make it happen, WWE. Make their heads explode, and you know who I'm talking about. It's not even the fans. And I appreciate the one that Jericho interview I told you about with Van Vliet. He mentioned about how middle America, and not saying he's blaming that, just, but there's still a part of, middle America that it isn't still on board with the women's stuff yet. You know what I mean? And they'll get there and they'll probably be upset if women headline WrestleMania, but they'll get over it, and at the end of the day though, they've always just, women have just been used in these matches as just kind of like little, like the Santino spot, so to speak. You know what I mean? The goofy spot, the real quick come in, like the Beth Phoenix eliminates the Great Khali by kissing him over the top rope or whatever, If you, I don't know, it would just be interesting if there was just like a couple people left in Becky Lynch, or, any woman for that matter, but just because the character would call for it this year.
Right.
To hear her music hit and have the man come out and just, whether she won or not, or what, because it's a Rumble match. And realistically, Josh, even if she were to be eliminated, you only have to technically clothesline her over the top rope. There's no real physicality that has to happen. So you wouldn't have to worry about sponsors as much. And I'm not saying the PC police. That's not what I'm saying, guys. I'm saying it's sponsorships and shareholders and things that what is going on in my house? There's random voices in my head. They talk to me. But yeah, man, I don't know. I know I'm petitioning real hard for this whole Becky Lynch thing, but I just think it would be so effing cool, man. Like, it'd be just something so different. Like how Sam and I for months were just begging, like, Rollins should cash in at WrestleMania. And we were told by every single person that was ever even close to the business we were wrong. And they would never do it. But they did. So, I don't know. I don't think they're, obviously I don't think they're doing this, but.
I think it'd be really cool, and I do think like a guy like Corbin is gonna piss a lot of people off, like eliminate a lot of the people's favorites in between the match.
Yeah,
Becky could come out and eliminate Corbin, and there's your spot right there. So you can do it. I don't see a reason why you can't. So I think it's pretty cool. But it's interesting when you look at like arenas and cities that they have in Rumble. You can figure out like what old timer or legend will be on the Rumble. I don't know who the fuck lives in Phoenix, Arizona. I don't know who lives out there. So,
well, Nikki Bella, right? The Bella twins could be in the Rumble.
I guess.
Yeah,
I guess.
Be careful what you wish for, man. There you go. There's that. But because it's more pacifically located, even though I know I don't even know what time. It's Mountain Time Zone, I think, but they're more on the West Coast. So I'm thinking about like that's why I actually think there is a slight chance that Balor could win. Cause you're kind of like when they induct Hall of Famers and they have WrestleMania out in California, you're getting a lot of the Asian wrestlers, your Japanese wrestlers, you know what I mean? Like it's just how it is. Do I agree, disagree, whatever? People call them racist. People call them this, people call them that. I don't know. I think it's just good business because of how flights are and how, you know what I mean? And that's why they set up certain years to do certain things. I don't know, man. Part of me, and I'm probably wrong on this, but part of me just thinks that this was done, especially on the West Coast, because they did think that they were going to be able to get everybody from the Elite. And, with Japan being closer to our West Coast, it would just make a lot more sense for that transition. So I think it has less to do with returns and more to do with who they thought they could have gotten.
Yeah.
I'm probably totally wrong. I'm just thinking like business wise.
I'll say this though, I do see like a guy like Velveteen Dream and Pete Dunne being a part.
I'd love to see Pete Dunne. Good call. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot of options, but to the nit and gritty, who you got winning the Rumble match this year, my man?
I can't keep with my Becky Lynch pick. Okay, I guess if I have to be serious and not take Becky Lynch, even though I don't, you know what? That's bullshit though.
No,
if I would have said Donna during the Attitude Era, people would have been like, hell yeah, she should win the Rumble. You know what I mean? What is this sound that keeps going on in my house? So that's what happens when you get married, ladies and gentlemen. You know what? If it comes down to the men, I actually do think AJ Styles wins the Rumble. And because I do think the men's Rumble is last. I think just because they did that with Money in the Bank this year. The women's Money in the Bank was first. Men's Money in the Bank was last. I'm not saying it, there has to be some big twist or turn at the end. But, I just think I don't know, man. McIntyre seems too obvious. And I think that they're going to hold him out of the title picture until maybe after WrestleMania, and then he's going to be probably might be your next champion after WrestleMania, but I would probably say right now maybe AJ Styles I'm going to pick as my number 1. Rollins is my number 2. And can we do the Demon? Finn Balor is number 3. Maybe he loses as Finn Balor, then enters as the Demon and wins, and we get a rematch at WrestleMania.
Yeah, have enough time.
Yeah, we're pulling so many long strings out of really tight assholes right now, so maybe we
I'm going with Seth Rollins. That's my pick. I'm going with Seth Rollins. I think Ambrose and Balor are going to start a feud with each other going into WrestleMania. So that's my side pick. I think Rollins will fight Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania this year. So that's my pick. By the way, if Braun Strowman is in this match, I'm telling you guys right now, just be prepared. Lars Sullivan is going to lay out Braun Strowman on this. Get it out of the way just to pre-warn you guys, okay?
Is he okay? Because what's going on with that whole?
He's fine.
Okay.
Triple H said it was nothing. Something made out of nothing. He's fine.
Well, no. I actually think that if it was something where it was something dealing with anxiety or anything like that, or I would actually prefer them to kind of address it and start to become champions of that. You know what I mean? That's something WWE does really a good job of. When it comes to mental, they do a good job behind the scenes of it. Yeah. They can do a really good job in front of the cameras for it too. I'm not saying you have to throw every talent under the bus, but Morrow did a great, does such great work for them. This is something they were from a corporate level. They could really make a difference in communities, raise awareness, stuff like that. So obviously, I hope it was absolutely nothing. But for somebody that does have anxiety, panic attacks, and would probably shit all over the walls if he was about to walk into an arena full of 20,000 people, yeah, I totally get it.
Yeah, I thought Triple H gave it away yesterday when he's like, "You'll see him when you see him."
Okay. You know what, Josh? I thought that for a moment, Strowman's going to come down and cause Lesnar to match. That's how Balor wins.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. But there's a lot of options. I think it's cool. I think Rumble's going to be a lot of fun. Both matches. Doesn't really matter which Rumble match closes out the show for me personally. I really don't care.
Yeah, but, the order makes no difference to me. Please nobody think that. Yeah, and Josh, you know that. I looked at it. I think they're doing it. They're going to start flip flopping them every year. And to me, I think that there might be more. I don't know. I think there's more question marks in the men's Rumble than the women's Rumble this year. So that's why you end with that. I don't know. Yeah.
By the way, congrats to the Pats and Rams going to the Super Bowl.
No congrats to the Rams. Fuck that noise. That's no. I don't even got any skin in that game, but that's some dirt. That's dirt.
It's crazy, man. The last time these two teams played in the Super Bowl, I was 7 years old. There was the 2001 Super Bowl. By the way, ironically, in New Orleans, where this whole Brady era started.
Oh, motherfucker. It was right after the Tuck rule.
Yes.
It was the Rams. Shit.
It all makes sense.
You got to bring up old shit all the time, man. Damn it.
Yeah, so the Rams are going to be playing the Patriots in the
So the
Super
league
Bowl.
is fixed. Hold on a second. Hold on.
It's a work, damn it.
Just back then in 2001, so the whole Brady call with the Tuck rule, whatever, and then here we go again, all these years later, and it sets up an encore of the same conspiracy-ridden Super Bowl as 17 years ago.
And
Bullshit, niet, whatever language you want to use, bafangula.
Don't you find it ironic that the Super Bowl is in the city where the Patriots beat that team in their last Super Bowl victory?
Is it really?
Yep.
Man, I'm going for New England. Don't get me wrong, but it's still all. Oh man,
I'm sorry, Pat, but I got called.
Baby. It's theater. I still think. Listen, call me and Josh. You know this. Quick story. Used to work for a clothing company. Long story short, Super Bowl 40. Reebok rep. Just talking, saying, who do you want to win? Not a football fan. They said, just long story to make. Said, listen, if you, I really have no, I don't care. I work here. But if you see any bad calls going one way or another, know that the Steelers have nearly $5 million worth of merchandise pre-purchased, and the Seahawks only got about 500,000. So if calls go one way or another, you know why. And just think about that with the Rams-Saints game the other night, and think about the two major markets that they would be in, and kind of go with the theory of follow the money. That's all.
Follow the money.
I'll never say an NFL games are fixed. I'll never say that. I will say that they're probably slanted in certain directions, though. But I'll never say one is fixed. Bookies will tell you that. Come on, man.
It's not working.
Sense with that.
Yeah. All right. Before we head out of here, brother, go ahead, brother. Tell us a little bit about Gotham.
All right, real quick, Gotham. We got our first preview of Harley Quinn last week. Tonight, Jeremiah is coming back in. I guess the big thing is, by the time anybody listens to this, the show here in the States is going to be come and gone. But this will start a couple episode arc with Jeremiah, leading into an Ace Chemical episode, which any Batman fan knows where that is probably going. But start watching because it's about to get good.
I got a question for you. Have they extended the time of the show since it's the last season, or is it still the same?
Still an hour. Yeah, it's still an hour long. 12 episodes instead of 10. So that'll get them to exactly 100. But yeah, just the Jerome story or the Jeremiah story and what's going to end up being the Joker story. I really dig from the beginning, man. Like, and I know I keep talking about this, but from the beginning, I love the character. And now, I kept making a joke over the weekend. In this last episode, you never see Jeremiah. But Echo, they have yet to announce that she's Harley. They're having people go to the Church of Jeremiah, basically, and they're calling him a savior. And basically, she was like, "Listen, Jeremiah is your salvation." Now, listen, Josh, you know this. My whole wrestling gimmick was the Steel City Savior, and my tagline was "I am salvation." So for me, this is like the greatest Joker story that you could have ever written. I'm just taking every chapter and running with it, but. Listen, more so, watch Gotham. It's been excellent, and Cameron Monaghan does a hell of a job as Joker. But on the flip side, Josh, I got a question for you because you don't have kids, and I want to end the show on a laughing note here. You don't got kids, and this goes back to the whole parenting thing earlier. How I said, people will say, "Oh, I understand what it's like to be a parent." Unless you're a parent, you never will. You know what I mean? Just like But with that being said, you get fun little morsels like this. Like, listen, and again, it's no joke. Like, life is crazy, right? Josh, and you don't think about little things like, oh man, your kid's in school, so sometimes you got to talk to the school. So, school, they want to touch base with you, guidance counselor, that kind of stuff. How many how many schools realize that when they're talking to parents, their parents are on the shitter? You know what I mean? Because let's face it, none of us, and I know there's a couple people that listen to this that have kids. None of us want to talk to our kids' schools or their teachers or their whatever, because it's all, this is what's going on with the school, and it's all just time wasting nonsense. I hope all school administrators know that if you're talking to a parent, they're probably taking a shit. It's almost like if you're talking to somebody on Twitter or Facebook or whatever, same principle. They're probably on the toilet. So I'm not saying that's how part of my day was today. I'm just saying maybe I had to talk to my daughter at school and I got caught in a precarious situation. And thankfully, we have wireless phones now. But really, nobody got time to talk to their kids' school for nothing. We're not going to say, oh, schools are closed Monday. Cool. We fucking figured that out. It was a holiday. I don't need 8 phone calls about this. You know what I mean? Like, your daughter was sick one day from school. Really? Really? You don't think as her father, you don't think I know that? God damn it.
Damn.
On my ear, know that it's because another hole in my body is attached to something else. And I think that's the best way to summarize my life right now.
Oh, God, you're insane, man.
You're welcome.
All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for checking out episode 140 of the Hoots Podcast. Remember, folks, we're on Spotify now. You can go check that out. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Play. Make sure to check out our podcast every single week here on YouTube as well. By the way, just for those wondering and are still watching live, thank you, by the way. I want to give shout out to my big sister, Alex, who was watching the show earlier. So shout out to Alex.
And if people were actually watching, I would have left my camera off.
Right. Don't worry, folks. You guys don't have to see our ugly mugs. I am deleting this video after this recording is over. So again, thank you guys so much for taking the time to listen to our nonsense. We had a lot of fun today talking about TakeOver and Royal Rumble. It's going to be a really good weekend of wrestling for you guys. I'm gonna be one of the few who's gonna be watching the Pro Bowl beforehand. Little last chance to watch.
You would. Oh God! Don't make me start hating the Bears, man. I respect the Bears because of Ditka and the Aliquippa connection. Please don't make me start hating the Bears.
Okay.
I love Khalil Mack. That's what I mean. You guys can have him again. Take them. I'm so happy you guys have them. I don't want them. Like
they got it wrong. They should change Mack's position to DN. He's not a linebacker. He's not a linebacker.
Oh man, he plays that nasty hybrid position that you don't really know where he's ever going to be. Yeah,
right. But that Debo meme, man, that's my LB Punk.
It's like it's going to be funny. What if it's all said and done and we end up getting, even if it's just one Super Bowl out of these draft picks, and you guys don't get anything with Mac? Who really wins then?
No comment. No comment. We're not doing this right now. By the way, I'm not gonna watch the whole game. I'm not that dumb to watch a full Pro Bowl right now. No shot. No shot. By the way, they're having the Pro Bowl in the worst stadium on God's green earth, the Citrus Bowl.
Oakland?
No.
Oh, yeah.
The Citrus Bowl is the biggest dump of dumps. But anyways, thank you guys so much. Hope you guys enjoyed TakeOver and the Rumble this weekend. Like always, make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel and all our different platforms for our podcast. You can nominate us if you guys want for the Wrestling Radio Awards this year.
Especially Josh.
Type in Hoots Podcast. Help some good brothers out. Por favor.
Make sure to vote for Josh Lopez. Host of the year. Host with the most.
Host with the most. All right, guys. That's it. For the Cloud Prince, I am Josh Lopez. Thank you guys so much for checking out the Hoots Podcast, and we'll be back next week. Peace.